Bringing the former national security advisor to Vice President Pence, Fox News contributor, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. General, great to have you with us.
Shannon, thanks for having me on tonight. Appreciate it.
So what we hear from the State Department, the Pentagon, and others is that this is no longer a military operation, obviously, but there are things underway and continuing to get Americans out. I'm hearing, as I'm sure you are every day, back-channel efforts from retired special ops and other folks and veterans who are doing what they can to privately get people out of there. Are you confident that we will get out everybody that we promised would get to escape the Taliban?
No, I'm not confident at all. Look, this has been a debacle of historic proportions, and it didn't have to be this way. You know, when I was in the White House at the very start and went through several national security advisors, a couple of secretaries of state, CIA directors, but I've been working the Afghan plan for the Trump administration since February of 2017. And we finally had a plan that was a workable plan. It was not a perfect plan, but it was workable. And over 16 months ago, we put this plan in place that would ensure that we had a peaceful solution through a series of gates on getting out of Afghanistan. And the last gate was a government of reconciliation between the Taliban and the Ghani government, which was supported by 2,500 U.S. troops, several thousand paramilitaries supported by the CIA and Gina Haspel. We would have left air power in place, we would have kept Bagram Air Base open, and we would have had a peaceful solution. You wouldn't have seen what you're seeing. And now, what my big question is accountability. Watching what has happened and leaving Americans behind, it's a stunning development. The President of the United States said on an ABC News interview, he would stay in Afghanistan, and so we had all the Americans out. Well, it didn't happen. He said, well, we got 90% out. You know, that's not good enough for me to do that. And then when you look at the other things that he did out there by pulling the troops out when he did, the fact is we had troops in there, and the Taliban said, well, you can control Kabul, and we said no, and we kept the perimeter tight, and it resulted in 13 Americans killed in action over there through a suicide bomber. You know, that was a self-inflicted wound. And I looked at everything that the Biden administration did, which ran counter to everything we were doing, and then he left people behind. So we still have Americans there. We still have a lot of Afghans who supported us there, and there's no plan right now to get them out.
Well, we hope that promise will be honored, that everybody will be brought home. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican, tweeting this: Biden and his administration have sought to dodge accountability for their Afghanistan failures. They have refused to reveal the scope of the Taliban's equipment seizures. Congress will need to act to understand the full extent of this catastrophe and address the national security risks. General, you've seen there are veterans who are Republicans and Democrats on Congress who are raising questions, who are pushing back. They get this. Do you think there will be hearings, there'll be accountability? Will we get answers? Because there's a lot of finger pointing right now.
Yeah. Well, look, Shannon, we should, and I hope we do. In fact, if I was, my recommendation would be they're marking up the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, right now, and they ought to put something in there about putting a commission in, a blue ribbon commission, that is going to investigate what happened, not only what happened in the last few weeks, but actually what happened over the last 18 years. I don't say 20 years, because to me the first 2 years were righteous. We went after the bin Laden. We eventually got him in Pakistan, KSM, the mastermind of 9/11's in a jail cell in Guantanamo. So we did what we wanted to do in the first 2 years. But the last 18 years raises a lot of questions. Here's one thing I would recommend quite strongly, though. Anybody who is involved in the military operations in the last 18 years in the U.S. military, that means a 3 or 4 star, should not be part of any commission. That should be an independent blue ribbon commission, much like the 9/11 Commission or the Holloway Commission after Desert One, when we had that disaster in the desert. So, yeah, there should be accountability, and I hope there is, because we need to find out what happened. Look, Shannon, quite clearly, we were in Afghanistan for 20 years. We lost the war. That's a simple statement. The Taliban now flies their flag over our U.S. embassy, over all of Afghanistan. So 20 years of effort, thousands dead, trillions of dollars spent, all of the efforts, and they win.
Yeah, and Americans want answers, not only about that 20 years, but what led to now people being left behind and 13 service members bravely, voluntarily being part of this force, losing their lives there. I hope this will be bipartisan in nature. I think that's the best way for us to get the answers I think everyone deserves. General, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Shannon.